For the benefit of the bots, not for sale. Hello and welcome to Bloke on the Range, and I'm joined remotely by Les of Pegasus Tests, and the two of us just got back to our respective homes on opposite sides of the Atlantic after a fantastic week of shooting and sauna and adult beverages up there in the very much not frozen north. And we had a fantastic match at Hätilä. The discipline is Finnish SRA, and due to the connotations with the same acronym in the US, I shall not say it the English way. Very, very different crowd, very, very different sport.
Yes, that is true.
As it were. So what I thought we'd do, a bit different from what we've done before when we've collabed at SRA matches, is that I've cut the video footage together of both of us. This is the unpaid for version of StreamYard that we're working on here. So sorry, it's 720p. What I will do at the end is paste the footage at full size, full HD, and you can watch it there. And I'll probably also publish it as a separate no comment vid, extra vid at some point as well. So we actually we were running stage one, which is the first one we're going to be seeing here. We helped build it on the Thursday. We shot the match on the Friday, and then we walked and scored targets all day on Saturday. And your overall impressions of the match, Les?
That was a great match as always. There was lots of innovation in these stages. A lot of things going on, as people will see as we go through this, that you just don't see in other matches.
Absolutely. And the LARP was strong in both of us.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll, after we've done a stage or two, we'll have a little bit of a talk about the equipment and the LARPs, because I think that's interesting. Anyway, Les actually shot first and also age before beauty, so that's not fair. He is prettier than me. And so I will let Les take you through his stage. So here we go.
Thomas.
All right, so here we had to start off the stage by running through a minefield, or tiptoeing through the tulips, as one would. I chose to take a pretty conservative approach on that because I wasn't sure what the penalty was, but it wasn't worth taking it over something stupid.
Oh, no. I think it was 10-point penalty per broken clay pigeon.
Yeah, and here in SRA, that's a pretty significant penalty.
Yeah, it's hit factor scored. So it's pretty significant. So you shot a bunch of paper targets and reactive yastas through there, and then
now on to the second one here through the tunnel, which the target array was on. This is really neat. You couldn't just find that sweet spot and engage everything. You had to move around and search out those targets.
Yeah, I actually set this up, and Yari's brief to me was make it evil.
Yeah, good job.
And actually, I sowed the minefield as well, and he said make it deceptive. Not many people. I don't think anyone actually broke a clay, but everyone was watching where they were putting their feet, because you think you had a path, and then suddenly you didn't.
I actually set this one up and had it all perfect, had the targets concealed in the bushes, and then somebody came in with the weed whacker and made it a whole lot easier.
Yeah, they were deceptively hard to see. Brown targets on a mottled green background, and then up the top here.
A lot of people collected a lot of C and D zone hits on what was a fairly easy engagement.
Yeah, they were only about 25 meters away, but it was deceptive. And even though you do the walkthrough, you come up, and as we'll discuss in a bit, I had the disadvantage of a narrow 4-power scope, but it was like, where are the things? Because on the walkthrough you see them, but when you get a bit of that competition tunnel vision focus.
Yeah, oh, definitely. And I was using a stacked optic here on my L85 clone, and I went with, because it was so close, I went with the red dot, and it was like, oh yeah, that was a massive bore offset. So not showing some of those targets the respect I should have, and got the C's to reflect it.
Yeah, absolutely. So yes, people might have spotted that you have the Aly and Kaufman AKB-23. L85 we have at home, and where are we? I have the real deal.
There you go.
So I am galumphing through the tulips with, including the rifle, 18.5 kilos. So we're both shooting in TST division, where we have to have certain bits of compulsory equipment and 12 kilos minimum in the gear, not counting the rifle. I was at 14 and a half with the helmet, so 12 and a half without the helmet.
Yeah, I went sans helmet, was right at 12 and a half too.
Yeah. And it's a lot of weight, particularly when you don't train it and you're middle-aged, and the rifle's 4.5 kilos empty. So each of these are shooting boxes you have to be within, and as you can see here, sort of, the barbed wire is stored in the balls, and I'm searching for it. Not easy with the 4 power. So your main optic was 2.5 power?
Primary arms 3 power with
3
a Leupold Delta Point Pro on top.
Far more suitable optic for what's going on.
Yeah, of my setup, the optic was not a problem. Although, to be fair, you had an advantage because the trigger pull on your L85 is way better than the one on the AKB-23.
Yeah. Now, we had a brief exchange with the guys from one of the guys from. Sorry, I'm so bad with names. I'm terrible with names. I can't remember. It'll suddenly jump into my head. The gentleman's name from Aly and Kaufman. Spencer, yes, indeed, Spencer. And he said that there are better triggers available, but yes, my OG rifle's trigger was by far the better one of the two.
Yeah, it's one of the better bullpup triggers out there in your OG, and the one on the AKB is somewhere between M60 and RPG-7.
Yeah, it was quite chunky. So results were that Les was 175th out of 199 overall, and I was 84th. And just as a comment, the overall standard of shooting here is incredible. The average shooter there is amazing.
Oh, absolutely. And to top it off, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty far down there, and it all came from 2 things: speed and C zones. Like, I think on the stage, most of my hits were C's, just because I hadn't had it in my head that it was hit factor scoring, whereas brutality, it's always 2 hits on target. Whereas here it mattered where those 2 hits were, and that kind of bit me here.
Yeah. Okay. Any other points on stage 1? And we didn't rip any clothing or ball sacks on the evil barbed wire on the tank traps.
No, we didn't, but several people did, so we should get a bonus for that.
Absolutely. I think the bonus is not leaking fluid from places you'd rather not leak fluid from.
Good point.
So, on to stage 2. Simulated helicopter. So, why don't you take us through this one?
I love the concept of what this is, what they were going for. Not the world's best helicopter simulator, but the fact that you're 18 meters in the air shooting at such an unusual thing. And we had nice long-range targets. I think we were out there about 350 meters and stuff. So it made for an interesting shooting problem. For the most part, I did okay on this one, although target number 7, which was right in the middle, probably at about 275 or something, that thing just didn't want to go down. Like, I launched about 7-8 rounds towards it before it finally goes down. And I'm gonna take the blame. That was the shooter. It wasn't the target. But it's just weird that you miss a middle one, but the far ones go down easy, 1 for 1.
Yeah, I think it's probably that middle zone where you're just not giving the target quite the respect it deserves. A bit like the sort of 15-meter-ish thing with a pistol.
Yeah, exactly.
Only it's at about 275. It needs a little bit more. It needs more attention than the closer ones, but it's not focusing the mind like the far ones.
Yep. And that prism scope on there from Primary Arms worked perfect for this. It was the right amount of magnification. Everything about it was good. There's no complaints about it.
I cannot praise the Primary Arms prisms too highly, frankly. They are amazing, particularly at the price point. And there's me going up on the other one. So just as a quick point is that on Les's channel, you should go and watch his take on this. There's Les's footage and Nick. I'm sorry, Nick. I'm so sorry. I'm so bad with names. It's appalling. Nick who did really, really well in the match. And you should go and watch that, and I'll link it in the description below. So, my turn now with a single optic. So I'm having to hold up for these close ones, and we do have to worry about the angle we're pointing down a bit.
Yeah.
And what you can also see, and it looks worse on mine than it did with Les's, but I think that's because my camera's stabilized to a greater degree. But the platform moved quite a lot on recoil.
Yeah, each shot kind of like forced you to do a reset. It was you just didn't consistently move target to target, especially on those cardboard ones. Like you took a shot, you were off the target completely.
Yeah. Now with my SUSAT, I have, if I scrunch my eyebrow up against the eye cup, which I don't do because I wear glasses, and actually getting booped in the head with every shot is quite unpleasant and leads to flinching. You get 8 degrees of view. With your eye at a sensible distance, you're probably half that. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I'd say about half. Yeah.
Yeah, probably about 4 degrees of view. So actually, finding the next target is not trivial. And this actually, I come unstuck with that on the last stage of the day. But here, like on the recoil from shooting one, I could find the next one, and I could just track my way through without having to look alongside the scope. But
one thing neither of our videos are showing here, the Yastas to the naked eye were actually very easy to see. It's not coming through in the video, but you could see, you knew where they were. So you're probably doing like I did, head coming off, finding, oh, there it is, and then reacquiring.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure I actually needed to, because just the next one was there. Although maybe I did have to look up and around, but you probably wouldn't see the because my camera's horizon stabilized as well as just motion stabilized. So a little bit of movement like that, it probably just ate that. So result here was Les coming 146th, and my surprise result 26th. I was rather surprised.
You did very well on this one, and I can tell where my problem was on the paper. I just hosed it basically. I didn't give them the respect, so the C's again got me. And then on that one, I think it was like target number 7 of the array, I just launched like 7-8 rounds at it before it went down, and that just added to the time.
Yeah, I only had to do a couple of makeup shots in total, and I had to think about those targets because I've got 11 centimeters, so 4 and a bit inches of height over bore. I've got a single optic. I know that I do have to hold over, and the A zone is quite big. It's the old school IPSC targets, not the coffins. But you've got to give them the respect they deserve with an optic like that. And I can see how with a were you using the red dot? Sorry,
I don't remember what optic I did, but what I do remember, we were supposed to be in a helicopter. As a former helicopter door gunner, I treated the targets as such. As just as soon as I had a sight picture, I pulled the trigger.
Yeah. Okay, so that was an absolutely cool stage.
Oh, it was absolutely awesome, and kudos to them for like willing to take a thing like that. I don't think there's a lot of matches that would go to the effort to try to bring that type of shooting problem to bear.
Yeah, well, this is supposedly the largest SRR match in Finland other than nationals. So if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be them. And it was so cool. So the next stage, stage 3, you can see a lot more of our LARPs. And then, so I think we'll do a LARP discussion after the next stage.
Okay, let's do it.
So, this is so cool.
Are you ready?
I mean, just look at the mixed patterns, how they're blending in. I mean, if there's ever justification for mixed pattern, there it is.
Yeah. So here we've got an array of a bunch of Yastas, a bunch of pepper poppers, some paper, and a swinger. And there's 2 in the Z marked door, because they're allowed to say who the enemy are these days. You shoot one of the 2 in the windows, and it sets off the swinger. And you're allowed to start in the aim, safety offing, and so you could go pretty quick. Then,
yeah, this one here, the red dot really came through for engaging these targets. Problem is, I didn't take into account the height over bore, so picked up a lot of C's again.
I know. And then this last shooting position, kind of trenchy.
Yep.
And then a
Kind
bunch of paper. A bunch
Yeah,
of
and
paper.
you can see
couple
him
of Yastas.
going for the paper with the red dot there. Then mandatory mag change came up because there's no way you got through this one without a mag change.
Yep. Unless you had a 40.
Yeah. As you can see, get the paper and then switch over to, you see my head go down to the main optic for the Yastas, which were out there at a couple hundred meters.
Mm-hmm.
And I had it in my head here that there was a whole lot more Yastas than there actually were. I think there was 3, and I was like thinking, like, I'm missing targets here. There should be 2, 3 more targets. And that's why you're seeing me search around here, because I was utterly convinced there had to be more.
Yeah. Better to check.
I don't see any other targets.
Yeah.
Finished.
So I think what we can do now is you can see, okay, you probably can't see my mouse pointer, but there's paper on the right. There's 2 pepper poppers in the windows that set off the swinger that swings out to the left. And then there's a bunch of poppers, like you got that trail zigzagging off towards the tank backstop. And there's some Yastas behind them. And I'm lined up on the paper. I copied what Jenny did.
And is shooter ready?
Yeah.
Which was to nail the paper, shoot one in the window, possibly both of them in the window, and then just nail the swinger quickly,
50.
shoot the rest. An awesome crossing footage there. I'd actually planned to do the reload while running across, which is tactically unsound, but I'm also trying to keep those A1 magazines out the dust. Part of the challenge here was remembering all the places you had to shoot from.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they made tough target presentations too.
Yeah.
I mean, it just wasn't just a target just standing out there. I mean, they were in the woods. You had to lean out.
Yeah. In my view, I think this is the best stage of the match. It's certainly the one that tested both shooting and speed and remembering what on earth you're doing. And then I'm looking
skills
around as well.
perspective, yes. For
Yeah.
absolute sheer fun, the next stage is the best one.
Yeah, but even so, you came 133rd and I came 85th overall. And frankly, a stage like that coming up, I'm happy with having come above halfway. Which, yeah, because I cannot underline enough how good the standard of shooting is.
Oh yeah.
So let me just see if we can. Right. So your LARP. Would you like to explain to the good people at home what and who you are representing?
I am doing a very specific LARP of a Marine in 4-2 Commando in Sangin Province, Afghanistan in 2006. And I've absolutely perfectly mimicked his rig as best I can. And the only variations off of it, his words, are using the AKB instead of an L85. And I have a Beretta M9 pistol I'm using for the match when he had no pistol at all. So it's the only things that didn't match exactly how he was equipped in 2006 in Sangin.
Yeah, including the Chocky Chip boonie hat.
Oh yeah, it was the thing. He told me that they were only ever issued desert trousers, so they had to use their DPM tops. And he literally traded U.S. Special Forces for a boonie hat, and so I went with a chocolate chip boonie.
Nice. And I must say that that's a trop shirt. That is a pre-CS95 trop shirt. It is not a CS95 shirt. That was just the drip of that trop shirt, sir.
Also very comfortable for the weather we had.
Yeah, it's exquisite. They were well sought after, were trop shirts back in the day, even well into the CS95 era, particularly in the lurid colors. Trop shirts, trop trousers, and you've got windproof. You're wearing windproof trousers from Varisoleka.
Yep, and the whole rig you could source through Varisoleka if you wanted to.
And you've got PLCE webbing set up,
Yep.
worn, as we discussed at the time, worn in a rather more American style than a British style.
Yeah, I went for my comfort there with what I knew and stuff.
Yeah. It's what you're used to and so on. But yes, for all the British old and bold tapping angry comments, it's because they did that. He's a Marine, US Marine. They did that. That's
Yep, we
without
do
this.
wear our gear a little bit different. And
Whereas-
I can't say enough that while PLC isn't perfect, what a massive improvement over pattern 58.
God, yeah.
I mean,
No question. No question.
although the whole get up just proves MOD does not like you.
You expect it
know,
any different?
Well, it is different in the United States. Our defense contractors do screw us over as a taxpayer, but at least the stuff works and fits and is comfortable. Those are the
Yeah.
most uncomfortable trousers ever. And I did have them in the correct sizing. It's just like they were just miserable to wear all day long.
The crotch they do have a habit of sliding down.
Yep.
Like when they're okay, you're wearing windproofs, and I was wearing CS95 trousers. And when they're up where you first put them, they're just beautifully comfortable. But over time, they slip down, and then the crotch starts restricting your leg movement.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long. It's like 5 minutes of active movement, and all of a sudden it's messing with you.
Yeah, I was using the drawstring, and I had the ineffective British belt on it. And yeah, they do slip down over time.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So let's go over to my LARP. Where are we? Okay, so what I've got going on is what I was initially going for was sort of 1996 Bosnia. That was kind of what I was going for. So I'm actually wearing combat body armor, CBA, with the later CS95 rank thingies on them, and I've got the small plates in there. This was partly a bit of an experiment to see how that fared compared to my modern Varusteleka PC-18 plate carrier, and it was heavy. I mean, it's 5 kilos on its own. Let's see if we can pause this at a convenient.
There you go.
There we go. That's not bad. So it wasn't as much of an embuggerance with the rifle in my shoulder as I was expecting. Occasionally, it caused the rifle to not go quite where I wanted it and slip off a bit. My knife for the TST compulsory equipment is the bayonet, which you'll see on a later stage I actually fit. I'm wearing, again, PLCE, DPM PLCE in the more British style, so tighter and higher than Les was wearing it. Again, once I'd got it adjusted with the CBA, it wasn't too bad. It was bloody hot. Wearing all that Kevlar was bloody hot. And I'm wearing a Mark 6 Battle Bowler, which is not Kevlar. It is ballistic nylon and is 1.5 kilos and is not very comfortable. Spent a lot of time adjusting it. Now, this is basically, aside from the CBA and the bayonet, more or less my get-up from my University Officer Training Corps era before my attendance became exceedingly poor because they owed me money they never paid me. And also, I couldn't lose a weekend's worth of sleep while studying, unfortunately, at uni. But yeah, unfortunately, I did have to compromise on the LARP in a way that tweaked my autism horribly. Let me see if I can find it. I've got an A2 cocking handle on it. And the reason for that, I think this is proper nerdiness and vaguely interesting. So moving 5 kilos of ammo back and forth, particularly when you've got all the other weight, it's a pain. We sourced ammunition locally. It was 55 grain Magtech, and the ejection was a bit weak on it. The cocking handle was hitting a lot of the empties. And the day before we shot, or a couple of days before, when we were on a range practicing and filming some other things, we had the same exact stoppage twice, which was an empty case getting caught arse first in the ejection port. So caught between the front edge of the ejection port and the cocking handle. I had it once, you had it once, all in about 50 odd rounds.
Yeah,
And
we
I had
didn't
a
put
couple-
many rounds in that day before that happened.
Yeah, and I had it you could see that a lot of them were getting flown forward, which you're still seeing on this footage. I had one hit my hand, and I was like, okay, yeah, this is the reason why they made the A2 cocking handle. I tried upping the gas, and that improved the ejection, but it was hitting the back. The working
It was a
parts were hitting the back.
noticeable increase in recoil, which was not going to be good for the gun.
No, exactly. It's like rare gun. Supposedly 40 of these were imported into Switzerland at the end of the 80s. We know of 4 of them. Do I really want to batter it to death? No. So I tried the A2 cocking handle, because it's exactly that stoppage that the A2 cocking handle is designed to avoid, because it's shaped as a case deflector. And as you can see, there's a lot of my brass going forward, and it is being kicked away from the rifle, and then the rifle ran absolutely flawlessly at the normal gas setting. So I guess technically it's an early 2000s, but I've got the A1 magazines. Anyway.
Tomato, tomato.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is indicative of a problem that was probably with the L85, regardless of ammo, because the solution designed to fix the problem worked perfectly, and they wouldn't have designed that solution had it not been a problem that recurred a lot.
Yeah, it's not every rifle. It's just those that are like on the tolerance spectrum that are going to catch that when the ammo is a little bit weaker or it's cold. I mean, you can see that HK did a lot of belt and braces on things, because they didn't just change the cocking handle. They changed the extractor, they changed the ejector, they opened up the front of the ejection port, because they saw that's where stuff was getting caught. So they were coming at it from every angle, and then it did massively improve the reliability. But that rifle ran absolutely fine with normal gas, with the proper cocking handle at finish brutality in the cold, with 62 grain gecko. But this 55 grain Magtech, I think the port pressure was just down, and it was just cycling a little bit weakly.
When the L85 came out, it was designed around SS109 to start with, wasn't it?
Yeah, specifically the L2 ball.
Yeah, there you go. There's the
ball.
answer. We were using lighter ammo.
Yep. And you never know, it's commercial ammo, and manufacturers will load stuff as light as they think they can get away with to save money. Couple of cents of powder here and there over a 50 million round batch or whatever. That's 10 million round batch. That's not nothing. And it's just like, yeah, when you're shooting commercial ammo, you're going to have inconsistency, and it's not a commercial. It was designed around one type of ammo. It was not like, well, they didn't test it properly anyways, how they ended up with all the bloody issues with it. But they certainly weren't taking into account factory light factory. But what you can see with
they weren't worried about off-the-shelf ammo.
No. And what you can see, the difference with yours, your ejection pattern, your ejection's a lot more excitable than mine, because I mean, it's a Brownells BRN-180 upper. It is a commercial product. It's got to eat whatever craptastic nonsense people feed it. That's loaded light, loaded hot, whatever. So they're going to tend to be overgassed and tend to be positive on the ejection, and you can see it. So for those who are observant, when we do stage 4, have a look at the ejection patterns and see if you can.
And to be fair, both rifles functioned flawlessly throughout the match. Neither of us had a problem.
Absolutely. So whilst it just hit my tism that I had the wrong cocking handle on it, it did run. I would rather have had that than had stoppages. So yeah. Oh, and running the original RG mags at capacity, not downloading by 2. Yeah. So anyway, that's enough of that blather. So I think this was your favorite stage next, wasn't it?
No, the next stage is definitely my favorite stage of the match.
Okay.
All right, so this is a helicopter simulator. You're coming into a hot LZ. Again, this appealed to my tism as being a former helicopter door gunner. And what you did here is you had 6 Yasta targets you fired for bonuses before you started the trolley.
Yeah, so you could skip them. You could decide that you'd just skip them, but that's lame.
Yeah, I went for them, missed one, don't care. Then here we go. You had 2 you had to get on the move if possible. And as you can see, I just unloaded on them. And yeah, this didn't help the time. And then you had a target you just had to put at least 6 hits on. So you can see I just dumped mag right there and figured, must be getting low. So decided to do a proactive reload. And then there was an array of 8 poppers out there you had to get.
Yeah, and they were kind of hidden behind the 3 white ones.
Yeah, they were like covered in concealed position, which is good. That's the way it should be, since this is technically on a certain level supposed to be a military simulation.
Oh yeah, I mean it's militarized IPSC basically.
Yeah, and again, just like on stage 2, there was one target I just couldn't hit. I had to launch 7-8 rounds at it before it went down. I think because using the stacked optic, I was just hitting too low on the popper to make it go.
Yeah.
And of course, the requisite music, since we're doing helicopter simulation, because you cannot do that without Fortunate Sun.
Yeah, Fortunate Sunning intensifies.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you had 5 paper, and at that point, it occurred to me, like, go check the Yasta just to be safe, and I'm glad I did. Because one was still up.
Yeah. Now, on this stage, the Yastas were not quite so visible because there were these white sheets hung up as sight
They were very distracting for sure, which is their intended purpose.
Yeah, and they were basically the same color as the Yastas.
Yep.
So what happens to me here is I shoot a bunch of them, and then I'm like, where's the last one? And it's off to the right next to one of those sheets. And
probably the one I missed.
And then 4 power on this. I hit one. The other one you could only see kind of far too late. And then with all that weight, I knew I'd missed that one. So I go over, find it, and then I do a reload and stow the mag. I was quite happy with this reload. I thought that reload went quite nicely.
Nice and smooth.
Yeah. Right.
Much more conservative in your shooting. You're using way less ammo than I did. I went through 2 full mags on this stage. No regrets.
And then I'm like, oh, missed some. Oops. So squatted down a bit. You're shorter than me. You could probably see them better. And then, oh, God, every ounce of that gear, you can see it in my movement. And then onto the paper. And you can see that cocking handle doing its thing.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Unload, show clear.
So neither of us did particularly well on that one. But we had a lot of fun doing it.
I had more fun, yeah. I'm sure that run back to collect that last Yasta didn't help, along with the sling getting caught up. And, you know, I don't care. I had too much fun to worry about the score, to be honest.
Yeah. I think with hit factor scoring, you should have just taken the L.
Probably, but you know what? What's the fun in that?
No, quite. We're there to have fun. And we both reloaded on that stage, and I was not throwing my fragile... Well, I've got like 7 or 8 of these A1 mags, and they all run fine for the moment. I was not going to be yeeting them on the floor, which is why on stage 3 I put it on the rock. And I stowed this one because I'm just in the habit of doing it from brutality. But there's an interesting difference. You have yours rounds down, and I have mine rounds up.
Yep.
And you were just yeeting your USGI mags.
Yeah, wasn't worried about them.
So I think possibly we should nerd out on the logic of rounds down versus rounds up in this situation.
Oh, well, yeah. Rounds down is like you reach back, you grab, comes out, your finger index is on the front or the beer can, hold either way, and right into the magazine well, especially with an AR. Works out perfect, and your thumb's right there at the bolt catch.
It does indeed. However, if someone has yeeted your webbing off the back of the wagon and it's landed on your magazine lips, which is a definite consideration with A1 mags,
It can your rig can land upside down, and the same problem occurs.
Yeah, but there's a higher.
And why is your rig not on you?
Yeah, I mean, I used to have mine down and out until someone back in the day said it's all good and well until someone throws your kit off the wagon and trashes your mag lips and your mags don't work. And actually, then I just got used to it.
Yeah, and there's two schools of thoughts. Like, I've always been rounds down. That's how I've trained. It's always worked. I haven't suffered magazines with damaged lips because of it. Tend to be because, like, in all my experiences being on the back of the truck or in the back of the Amtrak or Hilo, your rig was on. So it getting yeeted like that really wasn't a problem.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, the only magazine failure we had is when we were filming the day before this, the spine welds on mine broke.
Yes. Yes. The only mag that broke was a USGI. It wasn't an RG.
Well, now, to be fair, that USGI mag was probably from the 1970s.
Yeah.
So it kind of didn't owe us anything.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with the RG mags, and I know people will be tapping in the comments that they were intended to be disposable. No, they weren't. They never were. They are certainly disposable quality, and if Her Majesty had not been so tight-fisted about it, they could possibly have treated them as semi-disposables. When they run fine. It's just that they're not very robust and they take damage easily, and you don't see the damage. It's not like the luxury of PMags is they work or they don't, and if they don't work,
you can pretty much tell.
Yeah, USGIs are more robust, but also have the same problem that if they do take a bit of damage, they might work a bit and jam inconsistently. But the problem is people being scared of armorers and handing in damaged mags and not getting enough actual range time to identify which mags actually work and which
it's more
don't.
of a range time thing, because when you qualify in the US and your weapons malfunction, it's automatically your fault. And nobody takes time, and you're trying to get whole companies or battalions through qualification. You don't even have time to analyze why the rifle wasn't malfunctioning. Most of the time you might be told, if it's like you have the same malfunction a couple times in a row, somebody's like, switch mags or do this, blah, blah. The rifle starts working. It's done. It's over. Nobody cares. And then it's go clean your weapon.
Yeah. Yeah. In the British case, with Scotch Brite. Just don't get me started. Anyway, so should we go on to stage 5 now?
Sure. I mean, this was a super fun stage. It tickled all my fancy. You notice, like, you were super deliberate on what you did to get score. On this stage, I took it totally tactically, which tanked my score, but I don't mind. And they had, like, these white things on the target to simulate armor, so you had to be careful about your shot placement here, which was nice. Now, right here, you're about to see is the one thing I hate about PLCE, and it's this freaking holster.
Oh, yeah.
MOD, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, they call it a holster, but it's a pistol pouch.
Yeah. And it's borderline dangerous.
Yeah. I rigged yours like I'd rigged mine with cable ties so that the closure wouldn't pop open and all sorts. And there's a couple around the corner here. So, yeah, so they used hardcover, the white hardcover, to simulate Ratnik body armor, and you were shooting them in the gut, then in the head.
Oh, yeah, I Mozambiqued everyone with armor. One of the things I've always done at Hätilä, regardless of what year we've done it, when we come up on these CQB simulators, I go for training value, and score kind of goes out the window. And I just decided to do this one technically correct. Did nothing for my score, but great for the training.
Yeah. Yeah. So I fixed bayonets because British.
Yes, absolutely.
And then 4-power, just the 4-power scope with the height over bore. It was just appalling. It's costing me time because I'm having to I'm just double tapping them in the head. Finding them's a nightmare. Because of the bayonet, I decided I was not going to let the rifle hang, so I used the option to put it in the box. They will never force you to let a live rifle hang or to reholster a pistol on the clock. They'll always give you another option. I took it. And this isn't going
Score-wise, you made the right decision here going for those headshots.
Yeah. And then I made an error because I didn't want to yeet the mag. I thought, oh, I can shoot pistol. It's easy. I can shoot my Browning. So I held on to the mag. It was at that awkward 15-meter distance where you need to give it more attention than you think. And then I wasn't sure I could see the hits, so I went back and did them again. And I shouldn't have done that. I should have yeeted the mag. That was unfortunate. But you can't chuck the mags down your front if you're wearing CBA. Now, I was talking to a couple of guys who were in Bosnia and some that were in Afghanistan early on, who wore this get-up, and they said that if they wore a smock, because it was cold, and it can be cold in Afghanistan, particularly at altitude in the winter, they'd actually wear the smock over the CBA with the PLC or chest rig over the top of that. So they'd have shirt, CBA, smock, webbing, which made a lot of sense. But
yeah,
it was
it makes
30
perfect sense.
It was 30 degrees, so I wasn't going to wear any more than I needed to. And it was just having something to do with that spare mag because I didn't want to drop it on the floor. I probably should have done.
Yeah, the high power mags are pretty resilient in that respect.
Yeah, actually, it's a BDA mag with a plastic bottom.
Even more resilient. So yeah, you overthought that one.
Yes, and it cost me 176.
Yeah, I wasn't far behind you and stuff, but I'm sure that's all due to shot placement.
Yeah,
I didn't see my time was fine.
Yes, I was a lot slower than you, but I toasted you on points.
Yep, absolutely. And that's just because I chose to Mozambique all those targets, which usually put the lower ones, in the CD zone.
Yeah.
Only collecting that 1B when I went for the headshot.
Yeah, you'd have been getting Alpha Charlie or Alpha Delta on those. Yeah, so that was fun. Also, I mean, I wasn't really comfortable with letting the rifle hang on the sling, even if I didn't have the bayonet on it. But I wasn't wanting to get stabbed in the leg. It's not got that bayonet is unsharpened, and I could sharpen it, but there's no point. But I didn't want the tip of it to stab me in the calf.
Yeah, no need for unforced errors.
No, and I was umming and ahhing it, and you convinced me not to, and I think that was the right choice because the rifle on that sling, with it used doctrinally, it would have left the rifle hanging down my right leg, pointing downwards.
No, with the SRA rules, you were right on the borderline, just standing still. So any movement could have moved it in the wrong direction. And at SRA, they are a bit more strict than most other matches about that.
Yeah, but it was a better idea to do it the way I did it, I think. But it's cool. Well, it's not every day you get to run through a shooting house with a bayonet.
Oh, absolutely. It's one of the things that makes Hätilä so freaking awesome to go to.
Yeah. Right, on to stage 6 now.
Make ready.
And here's another reason why Hätilä is awesome. Another shoot house. Most times in a match, if you have one, you have one. At Hätilä, they have 3. And here you get to simulate shooting from an armored vehicle to an actual BMP firing port.
Yep. So there's 6 pepper poppers
and
there.
your vehicle gets taken out by a rocket.
Yeah. And you can actually shoot the stage all pistol, all rifle, or a mix. And most people shot it as a mix.
So yeah, took a covered concealed position here. Saved the pistol. Should have did like Yari for the true LARP and crawled over, but got over, retrieved the rifle. I decided to go after the poppers with the rifle because I'd watched just a few too many people have to put 3-4 pistol rounds on the poppers to get them to go down. So I was like, let's just thump them with authority and be done with this.
Yeah. Then we had a training grenade.
Yeah. Too bad it didn't explode.
Yeah. just an inert one.
Yep.
Freedom, motherfucker!
Gave it the requisite time to go off. And again, as you can see, light shining through the targets. The height over bore is getting me, and I'm collecting C's and D's here. I knew I did it on these outside targets. That's why I dumped so many rounds. I realized what I did, and I just re-engaged and adjusted for it.
Okay. So I, of course, took this super serial.
Yep.
Really aimed. It is an AK. And I actually went 3 for 3 on it.
Yeah, you were one of the few that did. I mean, actually getting any targets with that AK was pretty good.
Yeah. And then I decided I'd shoot these round the side with the pistol, and then I'd do something vaguely tactically sound, which was shoot the remaining poppers with the pistol until either all the poppers went down or the pistol ran out of ammo. And then go and retrieve my rifle and mag. I should be behind cover. Wasn't thinking about it. And I had the grenade on one of the elastic loops on my ammo pouch, and then struggling with the exact movement required to get that out. And then I was trying to do better on the close-up targets, and I was trying to do 2 eyes open with the whole binder naming concept. I did try here the emergency battle sight, which was just appalling. That would actually have been better. The emergency battle sight in this scenario would actually have been better with a U-notch like pistol sights, because it's this very small aperture and it's quite high up, and the front post is quite large, and so it wasn't really usable. Now later, once we're getting well into GWOT, they started putting stacked optics on SUSATs and ACOGs and other things in British service, because those 4-power optics, when you are up close, it is not that good. So I was trying to learn on the clock what was the least worst option, and the answer is they all suck.
Yeah, the stacked optic worked for me with the red dot. It's just I didn't account for the height over bore, which low hits, a lot of C's and D's on this one for me, which reflects what, as you see in the score there, where we had almost the same time going through the course of fire, but a big difference in point value and placement.
Yeah. So
now, to be fair, you know, I did this semi-tactically. Yari did the same thing, had the result next to me. Nick went full bore on this, did the whole thing with his pistol, and really got rewarded for it.
Yeah, we've seen this in previous years as well, where they give people the option, and it seems that the doing it all with the pistol, it's kind of a death or cure. You see a lot of people, they either nail it and it goes superbly, or they screw it up totally. There's never a middle ground.
Yeah.
And it really paid off for Nick.
I gave serious thought to doing it with the pistol because I was confident in my abilities. But when I watched so many people put 3-4 hits on a target to get it to go down, I'm like, it's taking a little bit big of a risk.
I think if I'd had my Glock with the optic, I might have done it with a pistol, but not with a Browning with irons. No way. No way. No way. Rifle all the way. So yeah, that was another amazingly cool stage. And on to the last one.
Okay, so yeah, here you had 6 Yastas that were at about 250 meters, I think.
I think they were 220. Someone measured them.
Yeah, I heard a bunch of different numbers. So
yeah.
Either way, they were out there a bit. Started off basically not giving them respect that they were due for 2 shots, and then I was like refocused, applied the fundamentals of marksmanship, and then went 1 for 1 on all 6 of them.
Yeah, people that brought a precision rifle could use it for this.
Yeah. And then once they were hit, you abandon your rifle and switch to the pistol. Here, there was 10 targets, 2 shots each. I put in my extended mag, and I'm like, I am not wasting time on a reload.
Yeah, and this scenario thing was basically Russians
Repelling a
appear.
trench raid.
Yeah, Russians appear right in front of your trench, and you've got to repel the trench raid after having repelled another group of them who were further away. And you didn't hit your head right
Going
now.
through, no, but every other freaking time I did.
Yeah, I've taken to wearing a helmet, even if it's just a
You
bump
can see
helmet.
it locked back on the last shot.
Oh, nice.
Just as I planned.
Yeah. I have a habit of hitting my head on stuff. And that's why at Lynx I wear that Chinesium skate. It's a high cut helmet, military style, but it's a skateboard helmet. It's skateboard rated. And it makes a much better camera mount. Having the camera mounted up on my battle bowler there is suboptimal. It's really high and annoying. I think I found another solution for the next time I do a Brit Mill LARP. But mounting it on the nods bracket on my bump helmet is superb. So here we go. I'd zeroed at 50 meters, so I knew it should be basically on. Except I forgot one outside of my narrow field of view. Oops, that cost me. And then I'm being slow as hell here. And then I missed the port and had to come back.
Backing.
And I noticed with my headcam footage, I have the habit of knowing the last shot has gone well, and I'm not following through properly, and I'm already turning my head away.
Well, that's just calling your shots properly.
Yeah, but I should be following through better. And because I'm not wearing gloves, which is again part of the LARP, the Browning has been running 100%. I've not had it randomly hold open on me. And that was a thing that someone on Instagram said, "Where are your gloves?" And it was like, actually, they're in my pocket because they're compulsory equipment, but wearing gloves in hot weather in that era was just not a thing. You would have been screamed at for wearing gloves. I mean, and actually with Finnish Brutality a couple of years ago, where I was doing a sort of 1980-ish British LARP, I was getting screamed at by the old and bold in the comments for wearing gloves. You can't win. But my dedication to the LARP was that I was not going to wear gloves this time. So
you cannot make the internet happy, so don't try, man.
No. I mean, that era, basically, if it wasn't cold, gloves were not seen as personal protective gear equipment like they are now. They were seen as something to wear when it's cold, or because you've got a riot shield or something. They was just like, you were not supposed to wear gloves if it was warm and there wasn't another reason why you needed to. Was that the same with the Americans?
No, you always could, because I was wearing flight gloves in the field as far back as the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where Martial technologies really come in, because back in the 80s, you did one of two things. You wore flight gloves if you could get them, and if you couldn't, you took the regular black leather gloves and you just cut the fingertips off.
But yeah, I prefer shooting in gloves, even though it does sometimes make my Browning hook open. But my dedication to the LARP was so strong that I didn't. And actually, we were right next to each other in the results on that one.
Yeah,
it was that miss that cost me.
Yeah, the miss cost you there because you went through it faster than I did and stuff. But I wasted all my time on the getting the targets at the beginning. I think we both flowed through the trench at a pretty good speed, and I think basically most people flowed through the trench at about the same speed.
Yeah. So overall for the match, you were 179th out of 199 overall, with 42.85% of the winners' score. And you were 98th out of 102 in TST with 43.65%. and I was 119th overall and 72nd in military. And yeah, I didn't quite break the 60% barrier. But I think what I would like to do, there's a couple of things I'd like to do, and knowing me, I'll probably do them at the same time. I would like to run an SRA match. I'd like to run Hätilä high-speed low drag, like full-on IPSC comp monkey, just to see what I can do. And I would also like to see how, with more suitable optics, the SA80 could do.
Well, I think we just proved that between the two of us. I mean, the optics setup I had was clearly superior to what you had in every way.
Oh, God, yeah. Oh, no question.
You know, and what got me here on this was just shot placement. Most of the time, that's what did a lot of score killing. I think if you had an SA80 with my optics setup, you'd have done a lot better.
To be honest, I think what I would do, particularly if I was running it in open, is I'd probably just run a dot. I'd probably run a hollow sum with an ACSS reticle, possibly with a magnifier. And in open, you can, unless I'm mistaken, I believe in open you can put things on and off the rifle. So I could put a magnifier on for when I wanted a magnifier. But there's nothing in a Hätilä match that you actually need magnification for. And most of the shots are 50 meters and less, well under 50 meters, in fact. And certainly a couple of years back when I shot my What Was Stoner Do with a dot and magnifier, I think I only used the magnifier on one stage for about 5 shots and just carried it around the rest of the time. Folded off.
I remember that at Hätilä. That was back in 22. And like I shot it all with a red dot and didn't feel handicapped by not having a magnifier.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that possibly just running the SA80 with a dot, with the conversion rail and a dot. So weight-wise, it's going to be probably under 4 kilos max. So I'm taking a pound off of the weight of the damn thing. It's got an odd muzzle thread, and the muzzle device is threaded and pinned on anyway. So not going to screw around with that. And plus, it's heavy enough. The muzzle doesn't rise much on it anyway.
No, I mean, as a competition rifle, it performed adequately for you. It gave you no troubles. You know, you've got for any bullpup, that's a great trigger on that thing. Which is funny, for all the complaints about the SA80, that they got the trigger right was pretty damn good.
We were discussing there because I was a cadet at school. We had L85A1, so the straight pull ones, and I was in the school shooting team. And we shot the things in competition, and at no point did anyone say that rifle has a better trigger. The triggers, in my experience, and I've handled dozens of the things, they're consistent. And I noticed that as a target rifle shooter, you notice any difference in triggers, and they were all the same. And if they hadn't been, would have been, we want that for the competition team because that one has a better trigger. Unlike Lee Enfields, which can be all over the place. And AR-15, mil-spec AR-15 triggers can be all over the place in weight and grit and so on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, without question. So, yeah, as far as a bullpup goes, it's excellent freaking trigger. I mean, it's as good as the trigger in my Tavor that I paid Geisley a lot of money for to get a better trigger.
Yeah.
That's
and now,
just up to that stage.
And, of course, it's not a patch on a match trigger. On an AR-15 match trigger. I mean, that's a different world. But in terms of a bog standard military trigger, even though it's got that great big long linkage, it's actually not bad at all.
Yeah, it works surprisingly well.
Yeah. So before we wrap up and thank everybody, any other points on the LARP or the guns or anything else?
Well, the LARP was fun. You know, I had a preference for US Alice gear. It's what I cut my teeth on. And so it worked a little different for me. I wish I had a little more mileage in it. I think I would have got a little bit more out of it in the competition. As far as the rifle goes, it performed adequately. I definitely think the AKB-23 could use some trigger work on it to be a little more. I'm sure that had a little to do with some of my shot placement sometimes too. But the rifle worked. It didn't jam. It got the job done. I had a lot of fun at the competition. LARPing was always fun. If you ever get the chance to go to Hätilä, you absolutely should. The training value there, it can't be beat because you're getting access to equipment you're just not going to see at other ranges. I mean, for moons out, the facility we do it at, we are allowed to dig our own permanent trench, and we've done it with e-tools, and it's nowhere as awesome as that trench that they have there is. Like I mentioned earlier, like having access to 3 shoot houses, where does that ever happen?
Yeah.
And even if you go to Hätilä next year, it won't be the same because the shoot houses are reconfigurable. So they'll be in a different configuration. So you'll get something new, even if you've done it before.
Yeah. So I think that about wraps us. Thank you so much to all the guys from Hätilä who put this on and host us. And it's always a pleasure to help build and run a stage. It was an honor even to help build and run a stage. So thank you guys for your excellent hospitality and for your hosting. Thank you to everybody who made this possible. Les's company, Polaris Worldwide Logistics, gets his rifles and equipment along with any other Americans into and out of the States. So thank you, Les, for getting your own rifles in and out of the States.
Well, I got Nick's theirs too. So
yeah. And thanks to everyone who supports either of our channels. Please like and subscribe and so on. And this has ended up being quite a long video, but I hope it was at least vaguely interesting and you've tolerated our blather. And thank you, Les, for being an excellent chap.
My pleasure, sir.
In every way. We had an awesome time there. Really enjoyed it and looking forward to it next year. So thank you all and see you again sometime. Bye.
Bye.
So, shooter ready?
Thomas.
Stand by! Unload some beer. Coming down. So is the safety on?
Yeah, safety's here.
Okay.
And I have to put it, you'll see me come back and put it on like that.
Okay. Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by! finisher. Here.
Already. Valamis. Warm me up! Get some. Die, motherfucker. Unload. Stand by. Finished?
Yep.
Okay.
When you start moving.
Okay.
Okay. Are you ready?
Valamis.
Stand by.
Safety on. Safety on. I don't see any other targets.
Okay, then are you finished?
Finished.
And is shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by.
Safety. Safety.
If you have finished, then unload and show clear.
Ei niinku tullerukset ei oo ongelma, mutta se, että kun meitä puuttuu, niin se on pois.
Shooter ready? Ready. How do you kill women and children?
Easy, you just don't eat it much.
Stand by! Kill them all! God damn it.
Stand by.
Mm-hmm.
Are you finished?
Yeah.
Unload, show clear.
You finished. Unload. Show clear. You've cleared. Have it on holster. Shooter ready. Stand by.
Oh, it sucked.
We're finished. Unload, show clear. You're cleared. Hammer down, holster.
Make ready. Ready?
Ready?
Are you ready?
Ready, Malamus!
Stop by.
Damn them Russian bastards. Freedom, motherfucker! Boom! I think so.
You're finished. Clear. So clear. Yep. Put it down.
All right.
I'm ready.
Yep.
Step by.
Get some.
Are you finished?
The fuck?
Excellent. It's finished. From here.
Shooter ready.
Yep.
Stand by.
packing.
Finished unloaded, shot clear. Hammer down, holster,